The distributive property is the name given to a way of breaking up certain types of multiplication. It can help you a lot with your math once you understand it. We use the distributive property to remove parentheses. So look at this shape over here. You can work out its total area in two different ways. First, find the areas of the two smaller rectangles and then add them. So we have the area of the first rectangle as the height A times the base B, or A times B. Then we have the area of the second rectangle. The height is still A, that doesn't change, and our new base is C, and that's A times C. So we have A times B plus A times C. We can also find it by looking at the whole rectangle. The height is still A, but now we've added the two bases together for B plus C. A times the quantity B plus C, and that gives the area of the rectangle. These two expressions must be the same since they both represent the same area. This is the distributive property. So you need to learn this way of writing it. A times the quantity B plus C is the same thing as A times B plus A times C. So let's verify it with numbers. Here we've got A is 7, B is 5, and C is 3. So A times B, 7 times 5, 35. A times C, that's 7 times 3, or 21. Add those together, we get 56. Next, we'll do the quantity B plus C times A, and B plus C is 5 plus 3, or 8. We multiply that by 7, and we get 56. Those are the same. We've verified that it works for these numbers. Let's do it generally. So if we have P times the quantity of Q plus R, well, that's going to be the same thing as P times Q plus P times R. It works with subtraction as well. So if you have the quantity B minus C times A, that's the same thing as A times B minus A times C. So let's try one. If we have 2 times 6.5, that's 13. And we subtract 2 times 0.5, that's 1. 13 minus 1 gives us 12. Now let's take a look at the quantity. So 6.5 minus 0.5, that's 6. 2 times 6, that's 12. Again, we have the same result. The distributive property still works. This works for any numbers, including negative ones, but you have to be careful. It's very easy to forget to distribute the negative. So if you have a negative number, always take special care. Here's an example, just like the other one, but now we're using a negative 2. So we have negative 2 times 6.5. That's a negative times a positive is a negative, so we have negative 13. And from that, we're going to subtract negative 2 times 0.5. Again, a negative times a positive is a negative, so that's negative 1. We have negative 13 minus negative 1. Subtracting a negative is the same thing as adding a positive, so that's negative 13 plus 1, which means we go to the right, and that gives us negative 12. Now for the quantity. Subtract 0.5 from 6.5, again we get 6, so we have negative 2 times 6, a negative times a positive is a negative, and we have negative 12. So we see that it still works even with subtraction, even with negative numbers. The distributive property is vitally important, and it's also very useful. Good time to learn it.